Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome to the very first race of a brand new FIA season. And let me tell you, this one really did kick up the dust. There was some really interesting goings on over the course of these couple of races here. It's a Group 3 race around Suzuka. Now I'm going to sign for a new manufacturer, Lexus. I've not been with Lexus before, but this really did kick off proceedings because I got a slowdown penalty for shaking that guy's hand. And that really does not bode well for the future here. But going into the lobby, my DR is actually pretty high at the moment. It's not too bad. 66,000 out of a possible 75,000. And that puts me in top split. You can see some of the names there, some top names. And therefore it's not going to be an easy race at all. Sometimes it's been a lot easier in, it's always going to be easier in second and third split. But one of the positive changes they've made recently is reducing the qualifying time to 5 minutes rather than 10. So it looks like Fuel Burning's career is over. Don't have to worry about that anymore. So this is our first flying lap, or our only flying lap. We only have time for one. Unfortunately, on the second half of the lap, I lost the toe of TRL Adam, one of the fastest guys in the game. So not really much of an issue there, I suppose, because he's such a quick guy. I did get an okay lap, 58.5, which was good enough for eventually 13th on the grid in my first race for Lexus. So it's not going to be easy, of course, starting from anywhere really in the top split. Never going to be easy at all. But we're going to see what we can do here from 13th on the grid up against the top split. So we're in the highest level here, the highest lobby that I could possibly be in this region. So let's see what this is all about. Let's see what we can do as we cross the line. Now I've went for Lexus. I was going to say Lexus then. Lexus, because it's normally one of the brands that if I'm unsure on which car to go for on any given race, Lexus is normally a solid shout at most sort of tracks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but normally I just go with Lexus if I can't really decide who to go with, and for now we're going to go with them. So let's see how this one goes. So first lap, now you can see there key 25 in the McLaren, not too far ahead, and it's quite unusual that I'm one, racing against him, but also two, catching up. He's actually gone for a different strategy here. Now this is a 12 lap race around Suzuka, and the strategy is, well, basically there's no rules on the tyres. You don't have to use a specific tyre, but they all are available, so you can use soft, medium and hard. And I think Key's here gone for the medium tyre to begin with to try to eke out a longer stint. I've gone for the soft tyre. Most people have gone for the soft tyre. Looking up the inside of the second half of Spoon, not quite going to happen there, so I have to tuck him behind. Now over the course of this video I'm going to show you some horrific penalties. Really bad ones. The new system is absolutely shocking. Something good though, I'm going to go up the inside here for a nice tidy move, just give him some space there. Good little battle. And that is his career most certainly over. There can only be one YouTuber for Gran Turismo, I'm afraid. As we come through 130R, lap 4, and I just drift a little bit wide onto the Suck AstroTurf. So the first couple of laps here, the first four laps of the first stint, not much really going on. We overtook Key there, who's on a different strategy, lost a bit of time on the final lap, but not really all that much happening. So we come out of the pit lane at the end of that lap, coming on to our second stint, and that mistake was actually quite costly, and it really is imperative in these lobbies to not make any mistakes. You see here, I'm outside of the suction zone of 1.5 seconds with the guy ahead, and as soon as you're out of the slipstream range, you basically had it in top split racing. It's going to be unlikely that you can just catch up with guys that quickly. At the end of this lap I did catch up with Maji, who was in the Jaguar on a different strategy. Now this incident here was a bit unfortunate. I just tapped him as he was going into the pit lane, and he clipped the wall, and yes, you guessed it, 6-second penalty. He did hit the wall, so fair enough, I can see how that one works. But you're going to see some examples later on which are much worse than that. Now we're serving that penalty, and the pain of serving that penalty is akin to childbirth. Probably worse. In fact it's definitely worse. I've never given birth to a child, but it is worse, okay? I just know. We progress on lap 6, halfway into the race, 16th position, and that penalty really did scupper any chances of a somewhat decent result. It was going to be difficult anyway, but we have a renewed battle here in this little group fighting for 12th position. And once again, we've been reacquainted with Key 25 coming down through turn 1 into turn 2. Looks like our Lexus teammate there getting bundled wide. And is Key going to get through? Yes, he is. In fact, the Lexus backed off. It was a bit weird. The Lexus backed off. I thought he was going to let us all go, but no, he just let Key go. So I'm going to have to try and fight to get past him myself and pull off a beautiful little move here around the outside, which gives me the inside for the next left hand of Dunlop. Get the job done. Lost a little bit of ground there, though. You see that, though, there. As we look ahead, now this isn't the best place to be on the outside going into Decknell 1. Key almost getting sent to the shadow realm. Just resists the urge in time to keep it on the black stuff. A lap later, he's clearly flirting with death at the moment as we come into Decknell 1 again on the outside. He actually gets the job done, actually, around the outside into that corner. He moves up into 12th behind, well, I'm behind the Porsche now. It's my turn to try to get past him as quickly as possible so I can maybe try and keep up with Key, which is no mean feat. Through the hairpin on lap number 8. So the strategy is quite simple for this race for most people. Pit at the end of lap 4, pit at the end of lap 8, soft, soft, soft. 3 stints on soft tyres, 2 pit stops. Kryptonite there, again sucks off a little bit through the exit of 130R, drifts a little bit wide here, and I can't quite go around the outside of him here, quite annoyingly. So we both lose a lot of time because of that one mistake. And we dip into the pit lane at the end of that lap. That is definitely not sped up. The Lexus boys are just really quick pit stops. And we leave the pit lane coming out onto our final stint here in 16th position. Only 2 people behind at this point. So things are not looking all that great. Started in 13th. But let's not forget we're on the fresh tyres now from here to the end of the race. And given how shocking the penalty system is, you never know. Pretty much everyone in the lead or everyone in front of me might get a shocking penalty and I could win. Could actually happen. Into the final corner, final couple of corners. Looking up the inside of the Jaguar. He seems to be on a different strategy throughout the course of this race. I couldn't quite pull off that move. He's going to go into the pit lane, is he? No, not quite. So I'm going to have to tuck into the slipstream and perhaps try to go for a move down at turn 1. He does have the toe of the Porsche ahead, so I'm not going to get the job done here. The Jaguar actually fairly quick in a straight line. It's coming down into turn 1 on the brakes. And he's going to drift slightly wide through turn 2. I'm just going to nip my way up the inside and say goodnight. Move up into 15th. A couple of cars up ahead. This is where things can get interesting, certainly as we enter the twilight of the race. You see this big group of 4 now. Tasty meat, which we can go and eat. Let's go and do it. None of them going into the pit lane as we go on to the final lap. Key going defensive. Key at the front of this pack. Up in 11th place, so quite a few positions potentially to be gained here as these guys begin defending, fighting. We have a yellow flag, which is always good to see. As who do we have here? Steve Gaming, who's lost control, and unfortunately he just resets in front of me, but pulls off to the side, quite thankfully actually, as that could have been bad timing. Could have lost quite a lot of time there, stuck behind him. But this is where things get really interesting. This is where it really does begin to kick off. As well, you'd be the judge of this. As everyone just goes mental for a second, and then the guy ahead gets 4 seconds. We'll have a look at that again in a moment. But it really did kick off quite nicely in my favour, gaining 2 positions, and we're going to gain another one when this guy serves his penalty as he does now, moving up into 11th. So this race really was going down the drain quite quick, but a miracle happened basically, and we come back to 11th place on the final lap. To be fair, I don't think I could have finished much higher than that, even with that 6-second penalty. Even if I didn't get that, I probably would have only been 10th, maybe. Let's have a look at that again. So Kryptonite up the inside, up against Superman, or Inniss, and punts him a little bit wide into the path of a recovering TRL Org. They both make contact. That's them sorted out, and then he gets the 4-second penalty. So 1 second of magic for me moving up 3 positions effectively in the space of a couple of seconds. We earned 200 points for that. So, on the next race, I decided to go again. So that was a decent result, but I want to go again. Slipstream was absolutely crucial for this qualifying lap. So, tucked up behind another Lexus driver here, who in turn is behind the Corvette. So halfway through the lap, through the chicane, through the hairpin, sorry, things are looking good. But then, well, this is Suzuka, and you guessed it, I completely bottled my lap like an absolute fool and exit the game. Well, exit qualifying. We're going to start last, 20th out of 20 in top split, with ridiculous penalties getting dished out by the heavily drunk and intoxicated stewards. Let's see what we can do then. 20th on the grid, last. Where can I get? In top split as well. Never going to be easy. Never going to be easy at all. But we could, you know, you saw in the first race the amount of penalties that get dished out, the amount of people that are crashing into each other. There's always a chance for something to happen. This Mercedes driver's all over the place. So we're going to gain 1 position there. If we continue at that rate, we're going to win the race after about 3 laps. So come up to 130R the first lap. This was a treacherous situation here to be in. Wasn't quite sure whether to go for it, but I had to be aggressive. I went for it up the inside. Thankfully, it just paid off just in time. I think I was just about in the right place to go for that move. If I was half a second further back, then maybe it wouldn't have been the right time to go for it. But up into 18th, 2 positions on lap 1. End of lap 3, still 2 away from the back. 2 people quit, but I'm still 2 positions. There's still 2 positions behind me. So gain a couple of positions. People pitting early, being aggressive on their strategy, trying to get closer to the guys ahead. So Colin just coming out of the pit lane here. And this really gives you a good idea of how big a difference the tyre wear is in this race. The tyre wear was 11 times in this race. So I'm on the 4th lap on these tyres. That guy's just come out of the pit lane, so he's got completely fresh tyres. Look at the difference here. I just cannot keep up. And of course Suzuka, lots of long winding corners. You need the grip. I just don't have it. And he's just gained, what, already a second on me. He was basically next to me going into turn 1. And he's already 1.2 seconds ahead, halfway through the lap. Okay, so another yellow flag through Spoon. And looking ahead, it looks like we have another case, Scully. So get your briefcase. We've got another rage quitter. I move up another position. End of lap 4. That is our cue to go into the pit lane for the first time. And upon exiting, not a great situation here, really. Still 2 people behind me. 3 people have quit so far. So it's not really a great attrition rate. Well, it is. It depends how you look at it, really. I suppose I want as many people to quit as possible. But look at this. This is where things get really ridiculous, okay? Ridiculous penalties getting dished out. Look at the 2 guys ahead, okay? They both get a 4-second penalty, and I can't quite fathom exactly why that was. You rewind that clip. They just bumped each other a tiny bit, side to side, door to door, but it didn't really affect anything. It looked like good racing, if I'm honest. But that is a punishable offence these days. And soon enough they're going to bring back capital punishment for good racing, and well, you'll find yourself in the gallows or in the guillotine depending on your location. So he gets punted wide there by the Russian, and then look at this, right, a slight bit of contact again door to door, and Key is going to get sent to the penalty realm with a nice 6-second penalty. In fact, let's take a look at that again. Rewind. So just have a look. So the Corvette punts off Org in the Porsche. Just have a look at this contact. Side by side. Dunk. Tiny bit of contact. He's going in the pit lane anyway. It doesn't affect him. And then boom. Key 25. Rage mode. Surely initiated. So I'm in the background here just minding my own business while all of this is kicking off in front of me. And this was so bad in fact that Key 25 was reduced to sending himself to the Shadow Realm.
You piece of shit game! Oh my god!
If his career wasn't over before, well, it definitely is now, as he yeeted himself, in fact, into the Shadow Realm. Let's take a look at another stupid penalty. Well, this one's a bit weird. That guy goes really wide. It's our friend Colin again. Goes wide into the wall, bounces back, and gets a 4-second penalty. I mean, it just doesn't really make sense, to be honest. I know he kind of bounced back. It's not his fault that he bounced back into the path of this guy. Very strange goings on. Really strange. I mean, this penalty system, what even is it? What is it? I can't even finish that sentence. I don't even know what this penalty system is. It's an absolute joke. I think that sums it up very nicely. It's an absolute joke. And these stewards need firing. The stewards need to be sent to the Shadow Realm in their current spec. Okay, so we had this Lexus behind. I'm on the last lap of my tyres here, so I don't really want to hold this guy up. In fact, I let him go kind of there into the hairpin, so then I can follow him down these next 2-3 straights. That's probably a better way to do it. And we have another yellow flag. Plenty of people bottling it at Spoon. I think this higher tyre wear in this race are really kicking a lot of people into touch, myself included in qualifying. We get passed by Colin, down to 10th now. This is a bit of a topsy-turvy race. Some people going for different strategies. I went for the really simple lap 4, lap 8 strategy, which divides the race into 3 equal stints of 4 laps. Then I just pull out a random 360 no-scope for I mean, why the hell not? This race is just going all over the place anyway. So when you can just do things like that, why the hell not? For the MLG Pro strats of 360 no-scopes, must be worth 10 seconds a lap, obviously. Okay, come in for our final stop. Lexus boys, bang on it tonight. Thank you very much, lads. So we come out again, still with 2 people behind us. Let's not forget, though, we did start 20th in this race. So I'm in 14th, mainly courtesy of people yeeting themselves into the Shadow Realm. But that's not my fault, is it? That's their fault. So, coming through here, Spoon. Tucking into the slipstream of the Corvette up ahead, and it doesn't look like there's too many positions to be gained here, except for people getting penalties. I mean, look at this one, right? I don't even know what's going on here. I mean, you tell me what went on there, and the guy ahead gets a 2-second for that. Answers on a postcard. Anyone who can explain that one? Anyway, back where I am, a little bit further back. So 14th with 3 laps to go, up behind Bottle Sparks and Lyric Sim Racing. And so Lyric is, yes, he's going to peel to the right hand side, going to the pit lane. So we're going to go past him and move into 13th. Not too bad. We've gained 7 positions from where we started. Trying not to pull off a 360 no-scope this time around. No, we caught up with Francis, who's done serving his 2-second penalty. Just drifts wide there. I go around his outside, make a bit of contact, but I'm through into 12th place, up 8 from 20th on the grid. Beautiful stuff. As we begin the 12th and final lap of the race. Now, is there any scope for anything to happen here? You saw in the previous race, it all really kicked off on this final lap, as everyone was all getting a bit friendly with each other and getting penalties from the really friendly stewards. Hopefully that can happen again, but you see it's quite spread out here. Immediately in front of me, everyone's got a bit of a gap. We have this man there who was involved in that last lap incident on the previous race. Is he going to get caught up again? Well, let's find out as we come through Dunlop, very long left-hander into the Degner corners, 2 fast sweeping right-handers, first one a bit faster than the second one, and yeah, you guessed it, this man having a nice recollection of race 1, getting smashed into the wall once again. We move up into 11th. This is not too bad. I'm nearly in a top 10 in top split. Top split, let's not forget. I'm up against the big boys. Maybe I am a big boy now myself. Coming through towards Spoon for the last time. This is where many people have been sucked off into the realm in this race. And yeah, our buddy Colin here is going to suffer from the same fate. And we're going to just get through past him into 10th. I'm in the top 10, Mum. Are you watching, Mum? Thanks, Mum, for, I don't know, raising me to finish 10th in top split once. But yeah, it's going to happen. And as long as I don't bottle it. I did pull off a 360 no-scope here a couple of laps ago. Let's try not to do that again. Down into the chicane for the final time, a little bit deep. The tyres are dying of death. The death process has begun. Rigor mortis is setting in on those front tyres. But we're going to cross the line in 10th. Buddy, oh man, he completely bottled it. This is also very painful to watch. Much more painful than childbirth. He finishes 14th. He was 9th or something. Well inside the top 10. That's a big bottle. We can watch myself completing the race properly here again to show you how it's done. There we go. Top 10. But, you know, the main thing here really, the mad penalty system. Let me know your thoughts. And also Key 25's career being over. That's all from me. Let me know your thoughts on the race, on the penalty system, and I shall see you next time. I do hope you enjoyed the video as always, everyone. I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.